He's like, fuck it. All right, guys. You know what? It's time. So, what's going on, guys? The Film and Everything Podcast. We are going to talk some Rise of Skywalker. Today, we're testing out the live stream, so we were just 10 minutes of just setting up and getting things set up, basically. So, Rise of Skywalker, probably one of the bigger movies of the year, right? It's one of the many franchises coming to an end this year. We had Endgame, we had Game of Thrones, we had this. Was there another one?
No, not really. That I can think of it.
This one's not really a franchise, but Mr. Robot is also ending. The last episode's next week. That's another good show. But it's not. I wouldn't really consider it like a franchise compared to these. And so far, we are like, I think the only one that had a good, satisfying ending was Endgame.
Pretty much, yeah.
Game of Thrones was a massive letdown, and Rise of Skywalker before ending the year, it's the last one. We had hopes. We had high hopes.
You did. I really didn't.
Yeah, you didn't really. Let's get into it. I'll let you guys go first.
Josh.
And then,
of course, not yours.
I'm usually one that goes first. You go.
I'll organize my thoughts and just think of how to say this as nicely and as organized as possible.
Fine, I'll be nice.
Don't be nice.
So Rise of Skywalker, we saw it last night, premiere. It was a pretty packed theater. We saw it in IMAX.
A lot of
cosplayers. We saw a woman dressed up as Rey. Very interesting.
I think she worked there. Poor girl.
You think so?
I don't know. She was just standing, walking around.
We saw these two guys fighting with their lightsabers outside in the parking lot, and then we
whatever.
found out that they actually didn't even know each other. They just came across each other. Then they went in their separate cars and drove away.
Yeah, the guy with the blue lightsaber broke it.
Yeah.
It was flashing lights. I think it was breaking.
Yeah, so with that being said, this movie, the ending to the Skywalker saga, right? Like what JJ said, it ends all 9 movies, not just these 3. Whoever wants to go first may go. We have 3 views.
Nice.
Wait, it just went up to 3,000.
Wait, 6 million.
As soon as Josh started talking. Go, come on.
Well, I blame Ryan Johnson.
Oh,
That's
straight
it.
to Ryan
No,
from the get-go.
Like, because his movie, like Last Jedi, completely ruined this trilogy. He completely just destroyed this whole trilogy because everything built up in Force Awakens, he ruined it. This whole film for Rise of Skywalker was just damage. It was just like damage control. That's all it was. It was damage control. Because it was too much. Like Last Jedi did too much damage for him to even. I don't know.
So you didn't like this movie?
No, it was just damage control. The only parts I liked, the visuals were great. All the fuck yous to Ryan Johnson in the film.
There's a good amount.
There's a good amount towards Last Jedi, and that's great. That's it. That's pretty much it. It's the only thing I like in the movie.
Yeah, Fern, go ahead.
Yeah, this was a mess. The first 45 minutes was just a lot of exposition. I'm just trying to explain everything.
Yeah.
What
8 was supposed to be.
Yeah, it really felt like 2 movies in one. Almost especially the first 20 minutes, it was just so fast paced, constantly switching. It was like
even the time, the crawl, the
yeah, it was rushed. It was short and it was rushed.
It was like, oh my god, it was big news.
The writing on the crawl was really bad too.
It was short too.
It looked like a 10-year-old wrote it.
Wasn't it short?
Yeah, it was.
It
was. Continue.
Because
I know when I go,
the first 20 minutes,
over.
it was just it goes from Palpatine and am I spoiling this or no?
Yeah,
let's do. I put spoiler review. It's a spoiler.
Okay,
that's just
spoil the shit
I'm
out of this one.
I'm not doing no non-spoilers.
Well, no. Let's be fair for the people who are not on the live stream, because we're recording this as well. Let's give just kind of our overall thoughts.
Let's just write spoiler on the title of the regular
just
one.
put spoiler review. I guess just trust
or
people
just
that they'll watch it.
The little star thing, spoiler on the side of the title.
Yeah.
Just go straight to the spoilers.
Yeah, I just want to.
It got leaked like a week ago. Like,
Yeah, and people, I'm sure, people don't want to really hear a review if they haven't seen it yet or something.
Yeah. Whatever. Where was it?
Let's just do it.
Where was it?
Let's just do it.
Yeah, like the first 20 minutes, it went from Palpatine talking to Kylo to Finn and Poe and on the Millennium Falcon to Rey training. It's like 4 different scenes in like 10 minutes.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
And I think it's like a year. It's like a year.
It doesn't really specify, but people are saying a year. Yeah.
I hope so, because what she's doing in this movie.
No, she's a little OP.
That was always my main issue with Rey, but this one she's really overpowered.
One thing I did like also about the film, I like the fact that she lost to Kylo. Like I like that Kylo was beating her. She wasn't just beating everyone. Like she lost. Like she was about to get killed.
Yeah, I kind of like the fact that she struggled a little bit.
Yeah,
more in this one. Like even when she was training, like she was having that trouble with like her vision and stuff. Like and that little robot was kicking her ass. She wasn't as much of a Mary Sue in this one as the last two, which is which I appreciate, because that was my main issue with Force Awakens. That was really the main issue with Force Awakens. It's just Rey. Really.
What is there anything that you did like from this movie? I know we didn't like it.
Visuals.
I like the visual. Well, yeah, it's Disney. I'm not really gonna give them too much credit.
Did you pick up a lot of fan servicey stuff? Everybody is saying that it's jam packed with fan service.
It's not jam packed.
I feel like I was actually expecting a lot more.
Not really, honestly. I mean, there's when Lando came back. Well, that's fan service, right?
Yeah.
I guess, and like the little reunion between Lando and Chewie.
Yeah, because Lando doesn't really have to do much. He doesn't do much in this movie.
That's really about it. I think when they say fan service, it just mean like it follows a more traditional story path, not so much like.
I hate
they're
how
confusing
people
fan service and like just like what the fans want. Because fan service usually like, oh, let's bring back this character because fans like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true, because it's like then how much fan service is in all the Marvel movies then?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I hate how this whole thing of fan service is put in this negative context where it's just you want to please
the fans,
the moviegoers. Like I don't understand. Ever since this Rian Johnson thing of subverting expectations and being,
there's this weird disconnect between like reviewers and the fans. It's like reviewers they're always pretentious assholes and they just want to be different. When the fans, they're normal people. They just want to watch a good movie.
Some of the stuff I've been hearing about this movie and why they think it's like worse than Last Jedi, or why Last Jedi is amazing, is like this guy was saying that he wants to be challenged when watching movies. He needs to be.
I think he is challenged.
And it's like, and he was like, that Last Jedi challenges you in a way. It's like, no, it's just a shitty movie. Yeah, if you want to be challenged, go watch a shitty movie and try to like it.
I mean, there are good movies that make you think and stuff, but
but Last Jedi doesn't make you think. It's just shitty. It's subverting expectations just to fuck with you. And if that's something that you think is, I mean, I guess it's challenging. Like, I'm challenging myself to like this movie.
It's challenging to watch, but
But Last Jedi is nothing really bold. He takes from Return of the Jedi. It's Rey going to go try and turn Kylo good.
The story is not anything out of this world.
And the whole movie is just a one long boring ass chase. And then 40 minutes on that stupid planet trying to get some like horses or whatever.
Yeah.
CGI horses, trying to save those things. Yeah. So that's like the whole movie. And then you have Luke just milking Cal's titties.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna give my thoughts.
Really
I'm gonna give my thoughts here.
Thoughts.
This movie, I think I was one of the more optimistic ones for this movie. You remember I was.
Yeah, you guys. I need to stop. You need to stop with the positivity.
Yeah.
I called everything that was gonna happen in the movie.
It's annoying.
I told you.
I was. If you guys have been, catching up with the podcast and everything in our last show, I was trying to be optimistic about it. I was hopeful. I even got a little excited before the movie started. I was like, "This, we're watching another Star Wars movie. This is cool." And I was extremely, and I knew the leaks. We all knew the leaks. We had read the leaks.
I saw one of the leaks by accident.
I didn't read the full plot description, but I knew the ending. I knew the ending, and I knew where this movie was gonna go. And I was just hoping maybe in context it would be better. Me being hopeful and.
No.
And I was so disappointed in this movie. When the movie ended, there's a bunch of different moments during this movie where I just couldn't take it anymore. Mm-hmm. It was very similar to how Game of Thrones, when Game of Thrones was starting to end, that ridiculousness of it, that we were like, oh, maybe the show can be helped, maybe, and then it just went downhill and the show was a train wreck. Mm-hmm. When this movie ended, I literally had to sit there.
I know. I was looking at you like, we're gonna leave.
Or I had to sit there and just stare. I was like in a blank state of just staring at the screen, and I couldn't believe what I just watched. Very similar to Last Jedi, but in a different way. I would watch this movie over Last Jedi. I'd watch anything instead of watching Last Jedi mm-hmm. again. I'd watch duck shit for 2 hours. I was telling Joshua that yesterday. Then watch Last Jedi.
Yeah, Last Jedi made me angry. This one just kind of.
This one made me very upset because I can see why people enjoyed it, and if you whoever watched it and enjoyed it, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really wanted to like this movie. I was watching it and I was trying to find things to like out of it, but the next thing I knew, the first 30-40 minutes is rushed. And it's just pushing you through this whole storyline that probably should have been its own movie. This is 2 movies in one. This was J.J. Abrams cleaning up the mess of Last Jedi while trying to end the saga at the same time, while bringing in new characters and fixing up other characters and bringing in a villain because the other villain was killed off early, and et cetera, et cetera. And I really wanted to like it. And then next thing you know, when we were pushing, I was like, okay, I had known about the first act being rough. Like, people were saying, look, it's gonna be a lot of information. Just push through it. And some people said it gets better, some people said it gets worse. So I was like, let me push through this first act because it was a lot of information. I mean, there was cuts everywhere. Yeah, there was a lot going on.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a lot. Like, if you sneezed or something, you probably missed a plot point.
There was this one dude that went to the bathroom and came back.
Oh,
and he was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, I can only imagine. There's a plot point after plot point, and it's so if you miss 2 minutes, you're gonna be a little lost. No, actually lost completely. Yeah. I was lost, and I was caught up. I was watching the movie frame by frame.
I wasn't lost. It was just
overwhelmed.
There was just so much, and it's weird. They gave so much and so little at the same time.
Yeah.
For example, Palpatine comes back. No explanation why.
Yeah,
he's just there.
Yeah.
He has a massive fleet. How? I don't know. Nobody noticed.
Just rose him from the dead.
Yeah. Did he raise him with the Force?
Yeah.
Or was that the ships just came up?
I think it was with the Force. He brought them from the dead or something. That just
makes the last fight even worse. Okay.
He's that powerful.
Yeah. So this movie is extremely rushed. I mean, for some people, it's you won't be bored. For some reason, I was already kind of overwhelmed. It was just too rushed, and they wanted you to feel things in a short time frame. They wanted you to like these new characters. They wanted you to believe that one character was falling in love with another within 2 scenes. Everything was just rushed. When Poe meets his past girlfriend, that chick, the
chick with the helmet, I forgot her name.
Yeah, and you expect them to like each other and believe their relationship and that they want to live together after 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Finn with Rey.
Yeah, he was in love.
They were teasing little things with him and her, and him towards her, but it was just so quick. This movie was rushing through everything, and the plot points, it was so heavy on exposition. When you find out about Palpatine, it's in the first 5 minutes.
That's the first scene, yeah.
The first scene. And it's explained to you through dialogue. It's not even shown to you. And I understand why they had to do that. They didn't have any time. I get that. This is not... everybody that was involved with this movie, this is not their fault. I think this was them literally backed to a corner, and they had to figure out a story after Last Jedi. Their story was completely ruined, and this was them stuck at a dead end, and they had to figure something out. And what did they do? They're like, all right, I guess we got to get Palpatine. And it's so obvious that Palpatine is not like planned in this, because he just comes back.
He's just there.
And then there's no explanation on why he's back or how he's back. He's just back. He has like this life support thing, and that's it. Like, and he says that he was the one doing this the whole time. He created Snoke. We get a little thing of Snoke,
a bunch of little clone Snokes, which are there. I don't know why they're there. What's the point of them?
If that's the case, then why?
Why even bother with Snoke? Why not just come back?
That's one point.
Unless he's afraid of Luke
why not just have another Snoke out? Or something where that wasn't even Snoke in the first place,
or if he can make so many powerful Force clones, why not just use them?
Yeah,
as you know, Snoke was ridiculous, and then first of all, I don't know.
I don't know how he died. Yeah, and that was stupid.
No, it was just like in the old canon. I don't know new canon, but you couldn't really clone Force users like that.
Right.
I don't know how it is now, but so I guess you can now. But why not just make an army of Snokes? Or something like that.
No, man. I was trying to be excited at least for, because I heard it was heavy on action. You know.
It really wasn't.
And I was bored with the action scenes, the lightsaber battles. I felt this movie felt rushed.
They were
overall
well choreographed, but they weren't epic like how it was. Even in episode 1. Like the fight with Darth Maul and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
I don't know. I feel intense. Like the choreography for the lightsaber battles weren't even that great.
It was okay.
It seemed rushed. Like the whole, even the way it was shot, it seemed like they shot it very tight and close up, just so that they didn't have to focus that much on the choreography. Because that's kind of like that's like the trick, right? Like you just kind of have it up close, so you don't have to worry about any mistakes that you do or anything like that. And I don't know, I felt like the choreography was off. The lightsaber battles weren't engaging. I was bored.
There's also no emotion in these fights at all.
There's no emotion.
There's nothing there.
There's no stakes.
Rey's already beaten Kylo's ass like twice.
And we had no idea where the story was going until we saw the crawl. This movie made me hate Last Jedi so much, in the sense that this movie is JJ trying to fix 8 while doing something with 9, trying to figure out how to do 9. And, you know, Luke is like in one scene of this movie as a Force ghost. And that scene is pretty much, again, JJ fixing 8 and him admitting that he was wrong on how he acted. Literally saying how the whole movie was wrong, basically.
Yeah.
And there was a great scene that it hit me, but it also made me really, like, sad. It genuinely got me sad. And it was when Rey was just, you know, I guess hitting rock bottom or something. And she was burning the ship and she threw the lightsaber at the fire. And he caught the lightsaber. And Luke goes, that's no way to treat a Jedi's weapon.
Or something, yeah.
Or that's no, I think a Jedi's weapon needs more respect, deserves more respect. Yeah. That's what it is. He's like, I think a Jedi's weapon deserves more respect. And I just wanted to just clap
it. Mark was just
and he said that with pride, too, yeah. And that was such a beautiful jab at the insulting and just disrespectful way that Rian Johnson treated his character, and that scene of him throwing. That was so well done. And then the whole scene in general, it was a good scene, but I was just so mad. I was like, not mad, I was upset. I was genuinely sad. That I knew like this was the only time we were going to see Luke, and it was him stuck on the island, dead as a Force ghost, and him backtracking on all of Last Jedi. Like him basically apologizing for that movie.
That's what he's been relegated to instead of, you know, fighting Palpatine.
Exactly. Like he probably would have had a whole other plot. You know, we've talked about this so many times about the Colin Trevorrow, and it was like Luke and Leia were going to have significant roles as Jedi. In probably fighting Snoke, because the rumor is that Snoke was the big bad, right? And that Colin Trevorrow couldn't figure out a story when they killed off Snoke. And they killed off Luke. And Carrie Fisher passed away, which is nobody's fault. And supposedly that's where they couldn't crack a story. And you can see that here in this movie. Luke couldn't be used. And I think that's why they had to go the route that they did with Kylo Ren. You know, you can't have the last Skywalker living just stay evil, you know?
Yeah.
maybe it could have been a tragedy if like Luke was still alive, and Leia, and there was just no hope in saving their like nephew and
then
son.
Leia kills him or something.
Like they have to, like the rage just consumed him too much. Like it could have been similar to like a Revenge of the Sith.
Kind of like of Anakin and Obi-Wan, how
exactly.
Anakin was freaking out, and then
Obi-Wan
left him to burn, which is pretty fucked up.
Luke failing him as a master, that could have been, there could have been some tragedy there, but then Luke finds a way to keep training Jedi, or he's still determined to train Jedi, something like that, where it lives on. We don't get any of that here. We just get Palpatine. We don't know why he's bad, but he's bad. Ben Solo's basically Darth Vader all over again. Rey's a Palpatine. Why or how, we don't know. How did Palpatine even have kids? We don't know. I'm assuming. This is what I was saying last night. Using power. I'm assuming between Revenge. That's not even that though, because you were saying Revenge of the Sith, and between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope, if he had a kid during that time, how old would they be by the 30 years? And then Rey would still have to be, she would be a newborn or something by the time.
How old is Rey?
She's like, I would say she's like in her 20s.
Say 21.
Let's say, yeah.
How old is Luke and all these people?
They're pretty old. I would say 60s? Like 70s,
70s?
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
Think about it. If Palpatine would have had to have a kid maybe during the prequels or earlier.
No, Palpatine would have had to have actually, yeah. Yeah, probably.
So, I don't know where any of that would come into play with...
Because Obi-Wan was in his 50s. He looked like shit for his 50s, but he was supposed to be in his 50s, and the actor was in his 50s too. He just looked really bad.
Right.
During A New Hope. So, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. You can, and they didn't even want to even try to explain it. They just they were like, just fuck it. This is all we have.
One of them was just a really old parent. So.
Yeah, and like in the flashbacks too, they don't even look that old.
Yeah,
they
look like they were like our age.
Like 30s. I would say 30s.
Yeah,
more or less. 30. They look young.
So if they were 30, you would, if you do, man, he would have. It must have been before the prequels for Palpatine.
No. Oh no.
He was already kind of old
before the prequels. No, because Anakin was like in his 20s. By the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
But okay, so if Palpatine had kids, he was already old during the prequels. I think
it's one of the things you can't really explain
because his son.
Just wait for them to make some.
His son would be like in his 30s but they looked pretty young. They looked like in their 30s when Rey was a kid.
I think Obi-Wan's like 10 years older than Anakin, more or less.
Right.
Because Obi-Wan was like 18 in episode 1, and then Anakin was like 9. More or less. So, let's just say Anakin was in his 40s during the original trilogy.
I don't even know, man.
Whatever.
It just goes to show, like, I don't, like, that was never planned. I don't think that was meant to be, like, Rey's lineage at all. Like, parent lineage. I think they were going to do something else with her. I don't know, man. This just doesn't feel... The whole movie, I just felt like what could have been. Like, what was the original idea for these movies, And especially with that Luke scene, that's where I gave up. When I saw that Luke scene and him talking about her fighting Palpatine and him just, sounding the complete opposite of what he did in Last Jedi, and just knowing that was his last movie, his only and last movie for these new movies.
Yeah, that's depressing.
And that's, like, that was it. And then, like, JJ throwing... I love the jabs that he did at Last Jedi, but then I was like... It just made me so sad, because I was like, man, what could have been? We would have... Like, maybe in this episode, we could have gotten Luke being a total badass, like, taking down one of the destroyers or something, or, I don't know, however powerful he is. And we didn't get any of that, And then... I didn't... Like, I thought how Carrie Fisher's character, Leia, passed away in the movie was kind of dumb.
Like, I don't understand these force powers that are just apparently some of them just kill you instantly.
Yeah,
I don't get it. Like, I mean, Rey and Kylo were like teleporting throughout time and space or whatever what they were doing. I don't know what they were doing when they were like giving each other items
objects,
throughout space. But that sounds like it'll be a lot harder than just talking to Kylo for 10 seconds through your mind.
Right.
And then Carrie Fisher dies. I don't really understand.
Yeah, and I don't even think she showed up. She just kind of said his name, and then
and she saw like a flashback of her dying, and then that's it.
Yeah, like...
I mean, I guess they had to kill her off, but...
Yeah, I understand that, but that was kind of random. Yeah. I don't know. Like, and they were like, oh... The one thing... And again, I get it because the movie's extremely rushed. The exposition dialogue was on the nose. Like, when they found out... They're like, everyone... Palpatine's back. He's like, oh, no. It must have been through cloning the Sith. And he's like, yeah, cloning the Sith. And it's like,
yeah.
And, like, everything you need to know within 10 seconds. I was like...
Did you guys catch that one dude that, like, just knew everything about the Sith? The little redheaded dude? He was, like, a background character, and, like, he was, like, translating...
Everything?
It was... I don't know who that guy was, but he was, like, the MVP of the movie.
Yeah.
He just knew everything about the Sith.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. This movie, it genuinely made me mad. It made me upset. It made me sad.
This movie was as good as it can be considering he was
That's the thing. That's the thing.
He did this movie as the best he could.
This was him saying sorry to the fans.
Yeah, I can't even really be mad at JJ.
No, it's not his fault. It's
not.
It's Rian Johnson's fault, which I find weird that no one's even like mentioning his name at all. Because I don't know what it is.
Because people are quick to bash this movie, and we didn't like this movie, and we are kind of bashing it, but not in that way. It's just in the way of what could have been with this trilogy. You know, I think this trilogy actually could have been pretty good. And I think John Boyega thinks that as well because he said that about Force Awakens. He was like, I thought, Force Awakens, I was actually kind of excited at what could have been there. Mm-hmm. And then he was not too happy about Last Jedi. And it's just this movie was a lot of damage control. And by the time you got to the end, there was nothing. They had their backs against the wall. Like, there was nothing they could do.
It came to a point where it was literally JJ and Ryan just taking jabs at each other in their own movies.
Yeah.
That's really what it went down to.
And the studio, now I see why they brought back JJ, because Colin Trevorrow couldn't crack the story, and I get why.
Yeah, JJ barely managed to. Like,
he barely, and I think this was him just like
four
the best.
On this.
This was the best that he can do. That's so sad. This was the best that they can do because they were so backed into a corner that the best idea they could come up with was we're going to have to bring back Palpatine, make that Rey's grandfather, and that's it. We can't even explain how or why he's back or how she's the granddaughter. That's just it. And we're going to have to give Kylo that redemption arc like Darth Vader, and we have Palpatine for that because he is the last Skywalker. What are you going to do? You can't keep him bad and give that image of the Skywalker, Yeah. With Anakin in Revenge of the Sith, you could do that because it's telling that tragic story of how he became Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And because you have Luke is dead, Leia dies in the movie, and Carrie Fisher just couldn't. She couldn't be in the movie. They were just stuck with Kylo Ren, Rey with no parentage, or her story was completely shattered. No main villain of Snoke, which he probably could have been anything. We don't know about Snoke or what he could have been. And you're just stuck with literally Kylo Ren and Rey. And Rose Tico? What is she going to do? Finn, whatever arc he had that he got sliced up the back and maybe he was going to be something else, that was shot down. Like, how else could they have done this movie? And I tried thinking about that today. What storyline could they have done? Last Jedi literally could have been the last movie.
Yeah.
It really could have. All you had to do is maybe, instead of Kylo Ren choosing to become the Supreme Leader, he
joins Rey, which could have easily happened.
Yeah, or she defeats him in that fight that they were fighting over the lightsaber. That was another jab that I was wondering, how's the lightsaber fixed?
He doesn't even.
But they don't even explain. It's just back.
I love that. I love that. Like, it's back.
It's just back. He's like,
and it's in perfect condition. It was never got destroyed.
Yeah, that's like him just being like, you're not getting away with that. Yeah. Because I was wondering, I was like, well, whose lightsaber is that?
That's Anakin's.
No, I know, but at first I was like, so it's just like fixed.
Facts.
They don't even explain it. They don't even acknowledge it. And
nobody even probably remembers that it broke anyway. So.
I don't think anybody wants to remember that. Just such disrespect.
Yeah, and it's weird because we're watching a review of it. The person loved The Last Jedi, but he doesn't like Rise of Skywalker. But then he says that he feels like Rise of Skywalker was 2 movies in one, and it's like what 8 was supposed to be. That doesn't make sense because you love The Last Jedi, but you just said that 8 didn't continue the whole story at all.
This is literally like a sequel to just Force Awakens.
Yeah, like you can just watch 7 and 9. You don't have to watch 8 at all. Like you just watch 7, 9. Just skip 8.
Just know that Snoke dies, and that's really it.
Snoke and Luke die.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and the dumbest way possible. Because the way Luke wasn't supposed to die by doing that. And there's no way.
Oh man, I don't know. What else? I mean.
The Raylo. We have to put the Raylo.
We'll get into that now because the one thing I was at least looking forward to, I was like, everybody was saying is super heavy on action. I was like, oh man, I'm hoping that there at least be some cool action, epic action. We have Palpatine back. Maybe there's gonna be some cool, and we already knew about Rey fighting Palpatine and Kylo training with her and fighting him. I was like, that could be cool. Let's see how that goes. That whole scene was just like a exposition dump, and there was no battle. The only cool thing was Palpatine shooting up the electricity,
which even makes the fight look even worse 5 seconds later.
And then
there
was no. I thought that was gonna be epic.
Look cool, but they didn't do anything.
They didn't do jack shit.
Yeah, like
I thought they were supposed to have lightsabers.
All the Star Destroyers.
They explained the Knights of Ren a little bit in one of those comics, which is just an excuse, for bad writing. And one of them does have a light. They literally worship. They're like a cult, and they worship lightsabers.
Yeah,
that's like their whole thing. They worship. They call the light coming out of a lightsaber Ren. That's where the Knights of Ren come from. But they don't explain that in the movie, and that actually sounds kind of cool. It's different. Right? But no, they don't explain any of this shit.
Yeah.
And then I like that whole arena, and atmosphere.
It was a cool setting. But the problem was,
they rushed it.
It was so rushed because you have Palpatine destroying every ship in the sky, or whatever. I guess he shut him down or whatever.
Yeah.
And Rey just, and then he dies.
Yeah.
You don't think he will learn the last 2 times?
I was waiting for them to fight, and especially when he got his power back.
And
which I don't know how that works. Like now you can consume.
Yeah, no, for Darkseid.
That's been a thing in some of the games and shit.
But
they never really use it often. It exists, so
okay.
Pass for that.
I get it from Palpatine. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, because for the light side, it's like you heal, but for the dark side, you drain their life.
Yeah.
Their thing, I guess.
And Fallen Order did it. This chick does it. The second sister, she does it too. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And then I was at least hoping for a cool. I thought it was at least gonna be epic at the end with Palpatine because I knew that they were gonna fight. Kylo Ren doesn't even fight him. He just gets thrown into a hole, a pit. Rey gets knocked out. He sucks the life force or whatever, and then all of the Jedi go inside her and help her, give her that power. Yeah. And I thought maybe they could just go. It's like an all-out epic lightsaber battle. He just shoots his electricity. She blocks it with a lightsaber, picks up the other lightsaber, pushes towards him, and he dies.
Which, I mean, whatever these lightsaber crystals are made out of, find that shit and put them on the ships.
When he had
that's ridiculous.
He had just destroyed a whole fleet.
You made him so powerful.
20 minutes ago, he lifted all those fleets up by himself without even trying. Then
before he even got his power back, his full power.
Yeah. And then he got his full power back. He's shooting lightning at all the ships, knocking everything down.
No, and
then fucking Rey is blocking it with 2 lightsabers.
And then kills him.
And not even struggling.
At least I was expecting, because they teased that scene with her shooting the
That was weird. I don't know what that was.
I don't know why that was even. It was just to tease that she was a Palpatine.
She was trying to tease that she had some dark in her, but I don't see anything that was going on that would make her that angry. She was struggling a little bit with Kylo doing the Force,
that scene,
but she was winning in that scene.
Yeah,
the ship was closer to her.
The camera.
And I thought that. No, it's good.
Oh,
I thought that.
That was just me talking.
I thought that scene actually could have been cool, but I didn't even buy it. She was just like.
No, that scene was.
She was winning the Force battle, I guess.
Yeah.
She was pulling. It was closer to her.
That was random.
And then she just got fuck this, and then just lightning came out of her hands.
Yeah.
Which I'm like,
she acted well for what she could do.
Yeah.
in this movie, but I thought I thought that could have been cool. Like she was like trying to bring the ship back, and then like I didn't buy it. She was just like this. Like I was waiting for it to like they're fighting over the ship, and then like maybe she was sell it a little bit more, like use both hands and bring it closer, and then But everything was just like one hand. It looked too easy, and
it is too easy. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm dying to see a Star Wars movie where they give me an epic scene of like somebody just using the Force power, but like really selling it. Like in X-Men, the Michael Fassbender as Magneto, when he's just like yelling and he's bringing down like a whole freaking ship or something, and you buy that, like that's epic. But here you don't get anything like that. I was hoping, like with Last Jedi, I was hoping when he had all those AT-ATs out there with Luke, I was hoping for him to like use the Force or something and do something epic. Nothing. We haven't got any of that in these movies, and this movie was just so rushed. I was at least hoping the ending would be action-packed, and it wasn't.
It's just rushed.
Everything was so rushed.
Yeah, because they made it like so like trying to make like epic. Oh, like he has all I have all the Sith in me now.
They hyped it all up.
Yeah, they were playing that Palpatine has all the Sith in him, and then Rey has all the Jedi. And what's that all about? Since when was that ever a thing?
I don't. Yeah, like literally all the Jedi.
And plus, like, how does Rey learn the Force healing, the lightning powers?
I guess you can explain that during her training.
They were saying how Leia, like somebody was complaining how Leia taught her all this. When Luke was the most powerful.
What's the point of going to Luke then if she could do all that by herself?
Yeah.
She just did not want to deal with Rey, which I don't blame her about.
No, and plus, the Force healing thing kind of now messes up. Not only messes up, but it kind of like ruins a little bit of the whole canon story of the like prequels and original. So you're telling me like Yoda couldn't heal people?
Yeah, why didn't people heal before?
Anakin couldn't just get a new hand. Luke couldn't get it. Well, he didn't really
or Yoda couldn't like heal like Padme when she was dying or something. Like give her like. I don't know. Now I kind of like.
Unless it's like a specific power that they can use, but why? You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, because I find
what's with this whole bond that they have? I don't get why.
Yeah, they did the whole like Harry Potter, like Voldemort and Harry thing, like they're like connected somehow.
Yeah, but at least in Harry Potter they explain because the scar and the magic and all that. But
yeah, it's different.
It's so disappointing.
Yeah, but it's just like the Force healing thing really. I mean, obviously, like we see the show, so I kind of like okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like with the movie, Luke never did that.
I don't think the Force healing is a big deal, but when it comes to literally saving a life, that's a big deal.
Yeah, because Rey's only been a Jedi for a year,
and
Luke was a Jedi master, or whatever, and he couldn't even do that.
Was Rey dead when Kylo?
I think so.
Her?
She was definitely dead. Yeah.
Because wasn't that what Palpatine was trying to figure out how to do throughout the entire prequels? He wanted to live forever.
Yeah. So his way of living forever is literally just consuming people, right? Like,
but couldn't he just get one of his little minions to transfer over his power and that's it?
What I don't get was if he carried Kylo and threw him in the pit, why did he do it with Rey? Why did he
just throw them both?
Yeah, just throw them both.
No, he was trying to turn her to the dark side.
It's plot armor, but yeah.
And he was trying to turn her. He wanted her on the throne.
No, that was before Kylo got there, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was gonna do it because all her friends were getting fucking.
How lame was Kylo like running and
I don't know what it was that like when he turned good, they become funny. Like
they gave him like
comedy moments.
Yeah, they tried to make him funny last minute. Like he fell funny and he's like, ow. I don't know, it was weird.
And you can tell he like Adam Driver when he said that line.
That's not his thing. Yeah,
he was not approving.
He's a very serious guy.
Yeah. He's an intense actor.
Of that line, like the way he said it.
I don't even know. What would you guys rate this movie?
I'm gonna give it a 5. I'm gonna give it a 5 because it looks great. I like the Luke scene. I like all the jam tours Last Jedi because I hate that movie with a passion. I did like the Harrison Ford scene. I liked it.
I don't get that scene.
Yeah, it's like a memory or something.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what it was, but I like because Harrison Ford.
Is he a Force ghost?
I think it's a different type of.
It just goes to show that they were so limited that they literally just had to pull things out of their ass. They're like, we don't have any other way for him to be redeemed. Let's just have him have a memory of Han Solo. Because there's just nothing. Like, Luke is not there anymore to tell him something. Like, there's nothing else. You can tell they literally had no other idea.
I guess that was like one of the other fan service moments, just to have
Han show
Han,
up.
jeez, I almost forgot his name. Han just in there.
You think so?
I think so.
Just as a believable way for him to, because it's true, he did kill his father. How else would he be able to accept that or move on from that? It would have to be through Han Solo himself.
Yeah, I guess.
But I don't know. I was actually a little in shock about when Rey stabs him after Leia. I thought that was actually really interesting. I was like, oh, like does she kill him early? Like Leia knew what she had to do, and she had to sacrifice herself to like stop her son. That he was just, that's it. He couldn't, like, there was no coming back from that.
Yeah.
But then she heals him and he's good.
Which doesn't make sense because like for
that lightsaber throw.
Yeah.
He could have used it.
How pissed off was Kylo B that like he loses to her in the first movie without any training. Then they all get all trained up and shit. He loses to her again,
and she saves him.
Heals him. Do you know how furious anybody would be? Like they would hate her.
I would have liked it where she just kills him. I think that would have been a good little...
like a tragic moment. Like she didn't want to.
But she had to because he was just too much within, like, just too much on the dark side. I think that would actually make the movie a little bit better.
I think so.
Just because, okay, now you don't have to make him good. You don't have to follow that same trend again. But, I mean, I'll give the movie a 5 because I like the Chewbacca scene.
Okay.
And I like the, like the get on the gold medal. That's great. I loved all that. The little fan story things I like because it felt Star Wars. I loved all the jabs towards Rian Johnson. I loved all that. The music, the soundtrack is great.
I can see how the humor works for some people. I didn't really work.
One time when C-3PO was just like, because like I think it was Poe was asking if everybody's there. C-3PO, I'm here too,
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny.
That was funny. Another issue is, I think the pace of this movie hurts a lot of things. It hurts the moments that you're supposed to feel for the characters. It hurts the comedy moments. It hurts all that because it's so rushed. Like, it literally feels like we're on the move. Here's a quick joke, and you don't even have time to laugh because it's going to the next thing. And then, oh, hey, Ray, I love you. What? Oh, next scene, let's go. So they expect you to feel all these plot points, but they're just going so fast. I don't know. But the soundtrack was good. The soundtrack
was great. The visuals are great. You can't, deny that. And it has some good shots. The movie has some great shots. I like the Luke. I like that, the Han scene. Chewie, the gold medal.
The jabs, that Last Jedi were great. The whole movie is basically just a sorry.
Yeah, and
I respect it.
And plus, I don't want to hate it on too much because he was back to a corner, and this is what the best that he could give.
It really was.
Because he couldn't be how he played it too safe in the third act.
What else can he do?
What else do you want him to do? Considering he got fucked in the ass by Rian Johnson.
That's a sight.
No, because he got back to a corner.
Because if you don't bring in Palpatine, what else can he do?
That's yeah.
It would have to be Kylo, and Kylo was the least intimidating character of all time.
I guess what you could do is maybe Rey does kill Kylo in that scene, but I don't know. I guess you can do it. I guess that's a subvert expectation moment. Like she kills him early, but I don't know.
No. If there was no Palpatine, right?
Oh,
and
no Palpatine
and Kylo was the villain, what would the plot be?
Kylo's just trying to take over. It's just a normal battle, and then they see each other and fight.
Yeah, it's just that.
That would be it.
Yeah, the plot
is too simple.
Maybe Kylo's trying to power up because Rey is unbeatable, and
or trying to summon with the Sith, summon.
Maybe he's teaching the Knights of Ren.
But then it's then
I don't know,
But then she wouldn't. For the last Skywalker movie, to have the only Skywalker that's alive, to go down that path and then have Rey kill him, a Palpatine.
It's a bad look.
No, but that's if Rey was ever supposed to be a Palpatine. We don't even know.
Yeah, let's say if she wasn't a Palpatine, but I think whatever she was supposed to be, I think they had to cancel that out because there was no time to explain it. I think it was maybe some sort of something with Obi-Wan or something.
Obi-Wan.
Remember in Force Awakens?
Yeah, you hear his voice.
His voice calling to Rey.
I mean, Obi-Wan did have that thing with that chick from Mandalore.
Yeah.
The princess or whatever.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe it was that.
She dies though, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, she dies though.
Does she?
Yeah.
Maybe she had a kid before.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a quick load. Jesus Christ.
but
I don't know, man.
That's
So you give it a 5?
I gave it a 5 because again, I think that I said that I liked because
He's just repeats himself the entire time.
And
it's
just honestly the ending. I hate the ending.
There were some moments that I was just like I couldn't anymore. I think the Rey shooting the lightning at the ship. I was like what? And I just let it slide. I was like, okay, whatever.
That scene, if they're gonna show her dark side powers, there has to be something brutal. Like it should have been after she cause in that scene she thought she killed Chewie.
Force choke or something.
Which immediately that didn't happen and nothing happened.
Yeah. Walk away. Kylo lets her walk away.
Because he's trying to convince her. He's trying to get her to turn.
That should have been Kylo was the one that blew up the ship or something. And then she freaks out and electrocutes Kylo.
Like she does something on him, yeah.
Like she gets angry. Like dark side of the Force. There was no reason to get angry in that scene. She was winning.
Yeah.
I don't understand what that was all about.
She uses it on Kylo, but then do you want Kylo to lose again?
Well,
or
does
he
didn't
or do
have
they
to lose,
fight?
but he could have just blocked her or something. But he could have just been like, what the hell?
And then they fight or something. Yeah. I mean, a lightsaber battle right there.
And that's what is like. Oh, I can use this. I can bring her to her dark side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe that would have been a cool lightsaber battle there in the desert.
Maybe she freaks out and she loses control, and then Kylo starts winning because he's under control. You know what I mean? And it kind of builds up their fight a little bit more, even though
that maybe something like that too. Yeah. I don't know.
Because it was literally like a Daenerys Targaryen moment where everything was fine and she just got angry out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's literally what happened.
It's so similar to Game of Thrones, man. I don't know. I was expecting a lot of lightsaber action in this movie, and I feel like we didn't get much. And when we did, it was very average.
There was that fight in the middle with Kylo and Rey
on the Death Star,
which is weird. I don't know why.
But that was weird.
Yeah, the thing where on the dagger where she aligned it perfectly.
I didn't even get it.
That was weird because that's a broken piece of the Death Star, and it just magically it matches.
Yeah, I don't know.
It makes no sense. That was so weird.
Yeah.
It was like you can see the pieces of metal broken off. That was a broken piece of Death Star. It just happened to work out. Like you're just blaming the Force on that one too. They planned that shit out. The Sith that made the dagger knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Man.
Or whoever designed the Death Star was like, oh, let's make it look like this dagger. That
or who left those wayfinders? Like, how does that even work?
It was for Sith to find the Sith planet. So I guess young Sith were supposed to find it, even though there's only 2 of them. Well, there is a rule of 2 things, so I guess.
Okay. I don't know. There was so much going on.
It's a MacGuffin. It was just there to get them to point A from point A to point B.
It was literally like a video game plot. That's what everybody's saying. And the moments that really made me just like, what? Her using the lightning out, that was fine. It built up. It was building like that. I let it pass.
It could have been built up, but it really wasn't.
I'm saying like my reactions got worse and worse as the movie went further on. So the Palpatine, her shooting the electricity, I was like, okay, fine. I'll just keep watching, right? I'll keep watching. Fine.
I heard you were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because I was like, wait, like.
And some people around us like, oh my god.
So I was like, okay, whatever. I let the movie pass. Then, plot, whatever. Then I thought we were going to get a cool moment with her fighting herself, her dark version of herself in that cave.
Not even.
That was like 2 seconds, and then she was back in the movie. I was like, that's it? You guys were teasing this dark Rey, and that's all we got? How cool would it have been like a good, like a lengthy, like a decent amount of a fight against herself and like...
showing off like her Sith powers and or something.
Like what she could have been. And then... Nope, that was again because this movie's so rushed. I think the other moment that made me just go like the Leia scenes, you can tell they were like kind of working around it, like because her dialogue is very vague, and then they just used a body double, and you can tell like they said lines and they were just trying to match it up with whatever lines she has said from Force Awakens. Mm-hmm. It worked, but it felt a little off.
You could tell you had to kill her off. Like they couldn't.
You can tell like they had to work around it. You know what I mean? Because it didn't feel natural. It was the best they can do, but it didn't feel really natural.
Yeah. I don't blame them for that because
that's understandable. Leia's death, I think, was another one where I was like, I thought it was good at first. I was like, oh shit, like she helped Rey kill him because he wasn't gonna make it. I was like, oh, like shit, I didn't expect this. Then she healed him, and I was like, all right, fuck this. I was like, whatever.
She died for nothing. I mean,
yeah, I was like, fuck it, okay, whatever. And then the worst one, it's got to be the Reylo. I think that's where I was already like annoyed when Kylo Ren was like running and like trying to help Rey. I was like, this is fucking lame. Like he was just running with the gun and I was like, dude, what is this?
Yeah, why would you throw away his lightsaber? You're gonna need it for Palpatine.
And then
that's what I think. I'm like, you're an idiot. What are you doing?
Yeah, how cool would it be? I thought he was gonna come up with his lightsaber and Palpatine is fighting them both and they're both kind of like this triple
an epic battle. But again, the movie was rushed. Like, hey, he dies by lightning again.
Dude, yeah, I was expecting like kind of like Last Jedi when they both churned. Well, he killed Snoke, but I imagine something similar to that, but where they both churn on Palpatine and
the Knights of Ren
and he's fucking like trying to get them
he's
both.
He's fighting them both. Yeah, the Knights of Ren are in the background doing something.
Yeah, like this whole sequence, but I feel it just feels it felt
It would
rushed.
have been perfect if like Palpatine was holding his own against both of them, like just lightning and throwing them around, and then Luke just comes in the middle.
The fact that
fights, that would have been perfect.
The fact that Kylo Ren was like shooting his blaster and he was getting beat up by the Knights of Ren like that. And then they just had to give him a blue lightsaber. That's all it was.
To make he's good.
Because he's good, and they had to give him. It was Leia's lightsaber, so it's his mom's lightsaber.
Which I'll admit looks cool.
What
Leia's lightsaber was pretty.
No,
cool.
it was.
It was pretty cool.
It makes me. It's another thing that made me upset. That's another scene. That's what it was. It was the Luke scene, and when he explained how he trained Leia. Yeah. That's another scene that got me really upset because that was so cool seeing that flashback.
I would have loved to see some of that.
Exactly.
Obviously, it couldn't happen, but
I would have loved.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, she beats him in the training. I was like, what?
They had to explain how she can train Rey this much, right? I feel like that's the only plausible thing. I mean, damn, but that scene made me really upset in the fact that that's a movie we could have gotten in 8. We could have gotten Luke training Rey, and maybe Leia pops in. And helps too, because 9 originally was gonna have Luke and Leia as Jedi, full-on Jedi, going at it, and that's what this director was saying. It was gonna be beautiful and tragic. Who knows what could have gone on there?
Yeah, I just feel so weird that like, it's just a weird plot hole. That, like, if Leia is this powerful, why didn't she just train Rey in the first place?
Right.
That's just a weird plot hole that I just can't get over.
But it just goes to show that it's last minute things.
But even I don't think Leia was ever supposed to be using the Force like that, like being a Jedi.
There's always an intention.
Like Trevor wanted to do it, but it makes no sense. Why not just train him right there?
No, and I think George Lucas also he wanted to get into that more, like after Return of the Jedi, where she was starting to learn it as well. And but again, we'll never know.
Based on what I know of the old canon, like she kind of had some Force stuff,
right?
But she never really trained as a Jedi.
Right.
But she used the Force every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's like she talked to Anakin one time, and she kind of freaked out on him.
Right.
And then
I don't think maybe she was supposed to be this powerful, where she can teach Rey to do that stuff.
Yeah.
But they had no other choice, right?
Yeah, I mean, like the first time you see Rey, she's like floating around with all these rocks. She's like flying around.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this?
It's just rushed, man. They couldn't take their time with her training anymore. It was too late. It's too late.
That should have been the first movie her training, or the second movie.
I think 8 would have been the perfect. That's why I thought, with Force Awakens, I thought the setup was well done, in the sense of like, okay, now she's gonna get her proper training, and we all know how that went.
Yeah.
That scene did get me really upset because it made me another thought of like what could have been, like Luke and Leia working together, and who knows what that could have been like, and then. She gives the lightsaber to her, and that's it. Like, I knew, like, that was it. You see a lot of what-ifs in this movie, and that was it. And then I think that's when she gets the lightsaber and goes, and even when Rey got the 2 lightsabers, I thought, man, maybe she fights, like, fucking, with 2 lightsabers, Palpatine, and...
Like how?
Yeah, something cool, and we didn't get any of that. Nothing. Kylo Ren. What if Kylo Ren just came in and he was fighting Knights of Ren with his lightsaber, but the Knights of Ren would have been defeated like in 2 seconds.
I mean, he did. Once he got his lightsaber, he embarrassed them all.
Because they didn't. Knights of Ren, they weren't used well because
they were cool looking and they're supposed to be super powerful, but nothing.
They couldn't utilize them all the way. They were set up from Force Awakens. They were supposed to be an 8 as well, but what is that? Rian Johnson said he didn't use them because he didn't have time for them or something like that.
Oh, douche.
Yeah, he didn't want to underutilize them or something like that. Something stupid.
So he just didn't use them at all.
Yeah, basically. So, but I would have liked to seen that. I think the main thing that you heard me, it literally just came out of me. I never do that in movies, and it just came out of me when I saw Kylo climbing up the pit, and he runs up to Rey, and she's dead, and he grabs her, and he sits down. I was like, and I knew what was coming. I was like, don't. And I never talk out loud for movies. And I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And he just starts healing her. I was like, okay, fine. You set it up before. I know there's healing. Then he heals her. And she's like, Ben. And I was like, don't do it.
Cries
I was like don't do it. And I was already getting anxious. I was getting like, don't do it. And then they kiss. And that was it. That's when it just became ridiculous. That's when they lost me. Like, it went from just being disappointing to a flat out joke,
There was literally more romantic connection between Rose and Finn than these two.
Literally anything else.
Like, it's like.
Can we mention how the Finn rejecting Rose
that was
in every corner?
That was pretty funny.
Anytime he's like, yeah. We were laughing when she was like, and they were like, "Are you coming with us?" When the group was going away on their adventure, she's like, "No, I can't. I gotta go inspect the whatever." It's like.
You heard me? I was like, oh, thank God.
You do that. But
I really thought she was going to get shot in that part where she was running. That was like a blaster.
But yeah, I don't really get that romance at all. Like, the first movie, that obviously there was no romance there. She beat his ass.
Yeah, because they were teasing so many other different things. They teased Poe with Rey, and then, I don't know.
That's what happens.
The Last Jedi, they were kind of acting like they knew each other, which... They really don't know each other, like,
because one of the reports from Colin Trevorrow's story, I think I sent it to you, was that Rey and Kylo they weren't gonna have a romantic relationship, but they knew each other when they were young. But that something happened that they got split up, and I think one of their memories were wiped. Like, something happens where they got split up and they couldn't remember each other, but they still had this connection. That was something that the Colin Trevorrow story was going to have. I think I sent you that article.
Yeah.
Something like that. So maybe, like, 8 was... I don't know.
Yeah.
Because all those Last Jedi scenes were so stupid. Like, can you put a shirt on? Or, like, remember that? When he was without a shirt?
I know.
To be fair, that was weird.
What?
I never want to see Adam drive without a shirt on again.
But
he has this weird wide body.
He set that scene up, though. Like,
I know.
He could have just had a shirt on.
It's like sexual tension, even though...
Yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah, because, like, I don't care if they want to fuck or not. Just save the world.
They want to fuck or not.
Like, just go... Steady gas.
When they kissed, that was it.
No,
compare that with Leia and Han, the dynamic, how they start off hating each other and then they slowly win each other over.
Completely different.
Yes.
That was so lame, and I think they did that so that when she took the name of Skywalker, I guess technically, like when he gave his life to her, like his Force essence went into her.
He got her pregnant
through the Force.
No.
Hey, that's how Anakin was born.
But you know what I'm saying, right? Like maybe his Force essence, like basically, like
you're just trying to like make a.
No, I'm saying maybe that's their argument, like him transferring his Force essence, like his life to her, like technically, kinda is why she thinks like she has like the right to be a Skywalker.
No, she doesn't.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's a good argument at all, but
I get what you're saying, but no.
But maybe that's like the cheesy way of doing it. No. And then of course the final thing was.
I couldn't believe she said those words.
Which, by the way, looked like completely like fake. Like it's a deserted place, and then this one lady comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere, and there's one lady. Nobody's been around here in years.
Yeah, you can.
Who the fuck are you?
I feel like this movie felt rushed because all that looked like green screen. That looked fake.
It looked like a reshoot.
That looked like a reshoot or something where they just put it in there as the ending. Like, all right, that's the ending.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
a lot of things felt like reshoots. We never find out what Finn wanted to tell Rey, and I think it's because
that's because he's all like
he was gonna say that he loved her. Yeah, but why didn't they go? Like they mentioned it twice in the movie. The third time is always the time when he strikes and he says it. for any character. It's like the 3-time pattern. Like the first 2 times teases it, the third time is when they execute. I was waiting for it and they didn't do it, and I think it's because they added in the Raylo thing. Because there were reshoots for this movie.
Yeah,
that was one of the reshoots for sure.
People really wanted Raylo.
Maybe they just threw it in there.
Like really wanted Raylo.
Maybe, and I'm telling you, what if they put it in there to, to loosen the pain of her taking the Skywalker name, rather than him just dying? Because imagine if he just died, right? And she just, I'm Rey Skywalker. Everyone's gonna be like, "What the fuck? Like this guy just died."
You took his fucking name, you bitch. Yeah.
So maybe that was a reshoot where he goes and gives his life. Yeah. And then they just cut out the scene where Finn tells Rey that he loves her.
Yeah. She would have rejected him anyways.
Everybody wants her in that movie. Maybe that's my theory on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the only thing I could think of right there.
Yeah, no, that really.
Because they were reshoots.
That was a reshoot for sure. You just see it.
Yeah.
That was a reshoot because Finn wanted to tell something so bad, like just say it then.
Yeah.
It was because he was he loved her. That's all it was. Then they tried to do like a Avengers Endgame.
That was very Endgamey. That felt like if Disney was like, guys, this worked with Endgame. Try to do something like this.
Guys, please.
Because even the way it was executed, and I have all the Jedi. It was like so similar.
I can't believe that's the way Palpatine dies. Like
that was lame. Literally, Palpatine was so
OP.
misused in this movie. He was just there to be like to help move the story forward, and then they killed him off.
And it ruined Anakin's legacy.
Yeah.
As soon as they brought him back, his legacy is over.
Yeah.
They ruined Anakin's legacy because so he saved the galaxy for 30 years of peace.
Yeah, like especially like when Anakin's Force when all the Jedi ghosts were talking to her.
Yeah.
Anakin's voice was like,
bring balance
like I did. Like you didn't do shit, Anakin.
You killed younglings.
I know you feel bad, but you didn't do shit. He didn't die. You did nothing.
We got a comment, by the way, by Zeroda. Everyone seems to be getting spoilers, and I'm hearing nothing. LOL.
I don't know.
Just thought I shot him out for commenting.
What?
I don't know. That's the comment.
Everybody's getting spoilers.
I'm hearing nothing. I guess like he's saying that everybody he knows is getting spoiled, but he hasn't been spoiled yet.
And he's on.
Then why are you listening, dude?
I don't know.
Okay.
We have 2 viewers.
Nice.
That's me and you, I think. Right?
Huh? Oh, because you're still on it.
I'll make sure the quality
Oh,
yeah, well, we got one.
Well, no, then it's you and some other person.
Zeroda, if that's you.
Zeroda, thank you. Share it. What would you give this movie, Fern?
I gave it a 5, right? Yeah, I gave it.
You gave it a 5.
Said it like 10 times.
What would you give it, Fern?
I'm kidding. Shit, I don't know. I think what did I give Last Jedi? Like a 4?
I don't even know. We didn't even review.
Did we?
We didn't even review Last Jedi. That was 2017. The podcast wasn't up yet.
Jesus.
Thank God.
Yeah, I think it was more like a 5, 4.5 or 5. I think it was as best as JJ could do.
Yeah.
With what he's got, which is,
Very sad.
It was better than the last 2. I'll give him that much.
Oh, really? You think it's better than Force Awakens?
I think a lot of things are better than Force Awakens.
Wow.
I really hate Force Awakens.
So you enjoyed this one more than Force Awakens?
Yes.
Wow.
And I really do not like the Force Awakens.
I gotta rewatch this one again. I do want to admit that. I do want to, because I do want to see if maybe I missed something that people are loving it. Like there's people that are loving it.
Yeah, because people who hate The Last Jedi are loving this movie.
And I think people that are loving it, it's either like people that just love Star Wars, that they want to embrace it.
That's my theory of why it's getting such high reviews.
And it's like undoing what Last Jedi did. So that fan base is like, thank you, yes, like. Thank you for making this feel good for me.
Yeah, this whole movie is like a whole sorry. It's like him saying sorry.
Yeah, because the movie might feel like a mess, but at least it's treating the characters right.
The real sorry would have been if she just wakes up from a dream.
Oh my God! Or what if like Luke never died? He just teleported, and he just shows up from out of nowhere. He's like, he was like he teleported to go find.
Where's his
the green one? I don't know.
Because like Last Jedi doesn't it's there. Doesn't even mention it. So where's that green one?
The green one in
no, because Rian Johnson's a piece of shit. He doesn't want to give us that either.
Yeah, he just didn't want to give anything.
I mean, look what he said about the fan service thing. What Rian Johnson said about the whole fan service thing.
And what was up with Finn just using the Force?
I think they had to give him some sort of arc.
No, okay. Like my theory was, I think his original story was a stormtrooper becomes a rebel becomes like a Jedi. I think he was supposed to become like a Jedi, but
and fight with Rey.
Yeah, but I think Rian Johnson fucked his character up completely, and that's why John Boyega is so upset about The Last Jedi because he was told one thing. Yeah. Because in Force Awakens, it teased him holding like he was fighting Kyle, because he kind of fought Kyle a little bit.
He put up a fight, I guess.
Yeah, he did. He kind of
he fought better than when he fought that other random stormtrooper.
Yeah, like he fought pretty well, and this way it was teased, even though he has some weird one-liners. Yeah. It was kind of cringy.
And it was like, he got sliced up in the back. I kind of saw a little rivalry,
Yeah, so
think about it. It could have been nice, if they're going to do the whole Reylo route, it'd be a little love triangle, I guess.
Love triangle.
Something like that.
Especially because Kylo called him a traitor, and he seemed pretty pissed about it.
Like they were setting up some sort of arc there where they were mad at him for betraying the First Order, Phasma, and Kylo, like he called him a traitor, but here like Finn is just non-existent to him.
Yeah, because even in Rise, he was kind of like sidelined a little bit.
Yeah.
He was screaming out, Rey!
That's all he goes, Rey!
Yeah, so when they were fighting, he just decided, let me get in the middle of this.
Yeah,
and
he's
then
like
Rey
Jon
just
Snow.
Yeets him all.
Jon Snow with my queen. You're my queen.
Yeah.
I don't want it. For Finn, it's like, Rey!
Yeah, because I guess he loved her.
It was lame.
And he, I don't know. But I think it was teasing him being like a Jedi.
Maybe.
But again, everything goes back to Last Jedi. Because what he did.
It's the middle movie, man. It's the most important.
No, but it's not even the point. It's the middle movie, but it's also the fact that his whole film was based off screwing over Force Awakens.
No, yeah, he literally undid anything that they had set up.
I mean, that shot of Snoke dead is like the biggest fuck you right there.
But even the way it was shot, like Snoke with his tongue out, it's kind of saying like, oh, you thought this was going to be your big bad? Nope, look at him, he's dead.
Now, good luck trying to figure out.
You thought Luke was gonna get his lightsaber and train Rey and be a badass? Nope.
Yeah, it's not because like Rey doesn't even get it because she buries Anakin's and Leia's.
Yeah.
But where's the green one?
And she just pulls the yellow one out of her ass.
They didn't. I don't even think they had time to go into that.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's just there on the islands.
Yeah,
it was a mess.
Someone could just take the green one.
It's all a mess.
Even though her lightsaber kind of looks like shit.
I am gonna watch this again.
It bad. It looked like it was made out of plastic.
It was like a toy.
It really did.
I didn't like the way like the color was great, but just the way it was
it's
like,
nice seeing some other colors.
I'm gonna watch this one.
It was like an orange yellow.
Yeah.
Because if it was yellow, it's actually pretty cool because it's like the whole like Jedi temple thing. Like,
the Guardians.
The Guardian thing. That's kind of.
I guess there was a time jump there that she.
And where's Finn?
Well, Finn was back home.
What's his life like, or Poe?
Yeah, but because she was on the Falcon, and it's a co-pilot to help you fly that thing, right?
Joey. Joey seems to be in love with her.
I don't know, man. I didn't feel satisfied with it. People are like, "Oh, the ending is satisfying." I did not feel satisfied.
It's just her walking into the desert.
It felt like a nightmare of having the two lightsabers together.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
What the Anakin's and
Leia's?
Yeah, I feel like it should have been Luke and Leia's, or all three.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even though for some reason, like she, I don't know, she just buries it like with the Force, whatever, and then she just walks into the desert. I don't know why. Into an empty desert.
I like the idea of it. Like it's a nice little moment, but it needs to build up to that.
Yeah.
It's a brand.
It's
for Game of Thrones. Like you see, like I see Bran as the king, but you just didn't build up.
Why do you think I came all this way?
Yeah, like you just didn't build up to Bran becoming king. That's why it's so shitty.
Yeah.
So I think like the race, even though I think it's stupid, she should not take the name. I mean, I don't like. I like when she said those words, I was like, oh fuck this movie. It was like, oh god, I just couldn't believe she said those words. And why? And like she was a BB-8. Isn't that like Poe's robot? Like isn't that Poe's?
I don't know. Everything about this movie just felt super rushed. I would give this movie a 6, and I'm being nice because I want to rewatch it. I'm giving it a 6, just for.
I really tried to.
Because I understand what it does, and I'm glad that fans are liking it. Even if I don't like it or we don't like it, I'm glad there are people that are enjoying it and find joy. People are say that they were crying and they were emotional.
Yeah,
it was like Star Wars. It felt like Star Wars for them, and that's great. I'm glad. I'm glad it brought back anything it could have from The Last Jedi. I'm happy about that because there were some scenes that I was just happy that he did that. With Luke and everything. I saw through the bullshit. I guess I saw Palpatine was shoehorned last minute. I saw the potential of what could have been. That's all I was watching the whole time. The movie was too rushed. I felt like it was just these guys that had an original idea, an original plan, and they just had to save it somehow and do what they could, and that's it.
And
I'd give it a 6. I want to rewatch it again though.
Yeah, and when this movie ended, this movie makes you hate Last Jedi even more, because it's just so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah. Anything else? What else? What else did we miss?
That was talking about the Raylo.
Lando was kind of creepy.
He was barely in the
Tell
movie.
Leia I
Tell
say
Leia.
that.
Send Leia my love.
But it's just,
Yeah, it was like a little tribute to
even
her.
though I think, man, that would be
Lando
kind
doesn't do much in this movie.
Yeah.
Where did you just get that random army of like random people?
Oh, it's like, I guess everybody in the Republic, they decided to help.
But why not just like call beforehand?
They didn't want to because they weren't sure. They were scared. And then when they saw that there was hope, that was the whole point. Like, they saw there was hope, and
Oh yeah, as lightning comes in.
Yeah,
brings
but
over
that-
there.
now was the time,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, that final battle,
That was weird.
the whole space battle was so lame.
It was
The riding horses,
rushed.
and the Red Troopers.
Yeah,
Barely
they,
in
they
it.
hyped the Sith troopers and they're just there.
I'm telling you, everything was just rushed.
kinda
And,
dumb
and,
too.
and were those troopers underground? When the Palpatine rised up all those Star Destroyers, what
I
they're
don't
called?
even know.
Like, were they just underground? Like, they don't eat or like?
And plus, why didn't any of the people watching like help Palpatine out? There were like thousands of people watching.
Yeah, it was like a whole arena thing.
The arena thing was cool. That's
It
why I
looked
was like,
cool. I liked the whole cave. It was like kind of creepy. It
very Sith.
it reminded me a little bit of Dathomir, like kinda like
yeah.
how there's like some more magic.
I
and
thought that was
creepiness to
actually
it.
really cool. I was like, that's why I was expecting like a really cool lightsaber battle in the arena and with the crowd chanting
What
and
if-
really dark. Maybe it's playing tricks on her mind and she's seeing things.
Yeah.
But we don't get it. They didn't have time
What-
for that.
what
they
would
didn't have
be
time
cool
for that.
was, I think what would have helped in a final battle with this guy, like with actual lightsaber, even give him like a cool like double blade.
Yeah.
Give him like a double blade. And he's fighting Kylo and Rey at the same time with a double blade. Kind of do like a Phantom Menace type.
No,
of
he
thing.
can still fight them even with just. I can imagine him shooting
I don't
electricity
even,
at both
I
of
don't
them.
even mind the not
No,
using
no,
lightsaber
no,
thing.
no,
I always
no
kind of like
lightning,
the
but-
fact that he just mostly relied on the Force.
Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of cool. Like he's such a badass, he didn't even have to.
Yeah,
Or what
but
if he had
like,
people with him? Like
he saved
other,
it for Yoda. You know what I mean? Like he saved
Yeah.
it for like the really. Bad
Or what
good
if he
fight.
had other like Sith or other like
Like apprentice?
like just other people with him in the arena where they would come and help him fight or something, but he was all the Sith, I guess. So like that was it.
Yeah, but at least give him like a lightsaber. Do a little bit of a lightsaber.
No, but I guess
battle.
you remember he lost his lightsaber, I'm sure, when he fell. They don't even explain how he survived.
I'm sorry. If
He's just back.
If Rey can make a lightsaber out of her ass, I think Palpatine can get a lightsaber out of his ass. Like,
Dude, but he was literally like no explanation of how he was back.
the Ilium where they got all the lightsabers? That planet got turned to Starkiller Base in the canon. So like
No,
he
and
can
plus-
get another one. Like
and
it's
plus
not hard.
he has all those Sith workers, whatever. Like, make him one. They can literally make him one.
And another thing too, you can tell that they were so rushed. Remember that the Maz characters in this movie,
Yeah.
and remember in Force Awakens when she was the one that gave her the lightsaber and said
Anakin,
that's a story for another time. We never got that story, and I don't even think it mattered anymore.
I completely like Moss could have not been in the movie. And
It wouldn't. Yeah, now it
forgot
doesn't
her
matter, but I feel like that's something that I think would have gone further in 8 about where did she get that lightsaber, like a little
Yeah.
bit more about her lineage.
and she kind of implied that she knows something about the Force.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. She knew Han, and
I'll
I'll give it a 6. But anything else before we wrap it up? Anything else that we're missing?
The whole bickering the first 20 minutes was really irritating. Like, I was mentally fatigued when they're all fighting, like Rey, Finn, and Poe.
Yeah, they like argued for like the first 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and
they're not friends.
they're not.
They,
fun.
they
Yeah, but
don't
that
like
was,
each other.
I was like drained. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
god.
it was a little toxic though when Finn was like, "You're damn right, you're not." When he was saying, "I'm not Leia," he's like, "You're damn right." I was like, Jesus, these guys don't like each other.
So they're-
And, but
Yeah.
that never even went anywhere. Like he was just like, "Hey, I need you to be my co-pilot." Oh, okay.
Yeah, like Finn, like he had these one-liners. I was like, damn, Finn, like you're a little angry.
Yeah, I know.
You know what
He
it is?
wants Rey's ass.
No, you know what? Blue balls.
He had to deal with Rose, and then Rey doesn't want him.
I mean,
that
yeah,
sucks.
because that scene was so like, damn right.
I love how him and Rose dynamic is completely gone in this
know.
movie.
Like just seeing Rose, like she was
sidelined. I mean, anytime she would show up and talk to Finn, he's like,
I thought it was hilarious that they on that whatever it was like a poster or a T-shirt that had that weird slug thing on it. And then the slug thing was in the movie for like a second, and they chose to put that slug thing instead of Rose on the T-shirt. That's hilarious. Yeah,
you just did not want to give Rose.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, because Rian Johnson ruined his characters and
nothing with the actress herself, but that's a shitty character.
No, it's not her fault.
It's not her fault. It's like the character itself.
It's just there's no reason for her.
She sent Finn on this side mission in Last Jedi that went nowhere.
Dude, that was 40 minutes. That was like 40 minutes of the movie.
Just to give a theme that critics must have loved about animal cruelty.
Yeah.
Even though they're child slaves.
Yeah, fuck the children. Just release the horses.
Yeah, that's
any what else? Anything else?
The new girl.
Yeah, the new actors, they're in, they're out.
Hux.
Yeah, well,
Hux being a spy.
Why does he hate Kylo so much? I don't remember what Hux had an issue with.
Kylo they always had like a...
I don't remember. You
know. Especially in Force Awakens.
Yeah, they always
but the thing is, in Last Jedi...
He made his character bitchy.
In Last Jedi, remember, Kylo took over and then he just made Hux like a bitch, basically, so...
I just want Kylo to lose. Like,
what a bitch.
The
dialogue.
That was another jab at Ryan. Like, the way he just kills him, that was like...
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he ruined... Again, because Ryan ruined like some of the characters that JJ made.
I wonder where he would have gone with Phasma, too, and... Because all that he said that he had plans for.
He had plans for Phasma.
Yeah. And yeah, I found that weird. He's like, I'm... Like, the dialogue, again, because the movie's so rushed, they have to give you the information right away. He's like, I'm the spy. I was like, wow.
He screams it out loud. Everybody's listening.
Yeah,
but he's a spy, but he's still bitchy about it.
And he's like, why? And he's like, I don't care if you win. I just want Kylo to lose. Very one-dimensional dialogue.
And it doesn't really matter because Kylo turns good.
Yeah.
So that doesn't kind of really.
They just had to find a way for them. They had to have the characters have some sort of trouble in the ship because they were breezing right through everything.
That new character was cool. The other commander dude.
He was supposed to be an original trilogy character because he said a General Pride or Price, and then he was like just from like the old times or something like that. I was I guess we were supposed to know him from the original trilogy. I don't know who he is.
He's new. I don't know who he is.
He's one of the original guys.
I think he's just a original character.
He was just there.
Yeah.
He was just there during the original time, but he wasn't in the movies.
Yeah. So.
Oh, and he fixed Kylo's helmet.
I thought it looked so dumb. With the little scars. Molten shit, like that should go away after a while. Why was it still like that? I don't know. I thought
again, he's trying to make it like look cool because it like the first half of the movie, he tried to make more like Darth Vader.
Like if you're gonna go try to make it look like that, make it actually look melted and shit, not just these red lines.
And then you have Kylo doing like the whole Neo.
But he fixed the helmet, but he barely wore it.
No, that was cool though.
He barely wore the helmet. He only wore it in the ship, and I guess to intimidate people.
I always thought it looked kind of dumb. Only with the hood on, it looked kind of cool.
Yeah, he needed the hood on. Yeah, without it, I was like,
it looks like one of those rebel like a big
hats,
head. But like
I just don't get it. When he threw away his lightsaber, his second thought was to change his whole clothes to make himself look more good.
Yeah, he should have just kept the lightsaber and just defeated him with the lightsaber or something.
Yeah, just keep him with the outfit, like.
Well, would have been cool if he had Luke's crystal and he put it in there.
Like the green one?
Yeah, it would have been cool. I don't know how he would have got it.
But that would have been like 20 more minutes of explaining how he gets there.
Yeah. Knows where the island is.
That's the problem, man. When you're in a time frame, what a mess.
But now, like, where's Luke's lightsaber? Like, no one knows.
It's there with him at the island.
Because it was in the Falcon. Remember, in the Last Jedi, it was in the Falcon. When she opens the slot. Because again, I think Rian Johnson thought that JJ was going to use the green lightsaber, but he's like, fuck you, I'm taking back the blue. Take back Anakin's, the OG.
It makes sense.
Because the green was in the Falcon in the Last Jedi.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anything else before we wrap this up? I think that's it. I feel like we let it all out.
Yeah, well, nobody cried, so I'm pretty happy about this.
I'm probably gonna watch it again when we're in Orlando, just to see how I feel about it a second time.
Maybe we'll like it more.
I'll post about it. I'll post about it on Instagram how I feel.
We'll like it more just for that Raylo.
I know people that don't like it when they watch it twice. They just still don't like it. I don't think I'm gonna like it a second time because I know what I disliked. I wasn't like confused about it. I just knew that I disliked it.
That scene, I hated that scene when the whole ship thing. When I started with the light, I was like, oh fuck this. I just gave up.
That was fine. I didn't care as much.
It just didn't make sense. Like, it was just so stupid.
I was like, okay, if they're going that route, maybe we're gonna see some cool stuff later on.
We
don't. I would have liked to see her just use the lightning against Palpatine. Just fucking go crazy, man.
Yeah, but she's so OP, man.
Just go crazy. At least their excuse for that is like she's a Palpatine.
Doesn't matter. Luke wasn't doing that shit.
Yeah, but she was trained by Leia.
Luke was trained by Yoda.
But if she was Palpatine, then Luke should have been like a total like force healing everyone at the same time.
I mean, I'm sure we would have seen that if he was alive.
I mean, obviously, they didn't think of force heal when they wrote those movies, but yeah.
But I'm sure we would have seen that if he was alive in this movie.
He should have been like more powerful.
He could have, but Last Jedi decided to ruin his character and kill him off. Yeah. Ultimate disrespect. At least keep him alive.
Yeah, because since he's a Skywalker,
he was having a bad day.
He should have been like taking down the walls like AT-ATs or whatever.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
But no, he has a little.
Imagine Luke showing up in the battle, and he's like on one destroyer, and he's just like, by the way, it's pretty much another Death Star.
Yeah, it's like 1,000,000 Death Stars, which is I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Like it didn't take 10 years to make the Death Star.
The last order.
The whole point of the Death Star was that it could.
Really put a lot of effort in that.
The whole point of the Death Star was that it could destroy planets, and now Palpatine just pulls like 1,000 of them out of his ass.
I guess he was making it for 40 years.
I don't care. It took 10 years to make one Death Star.
Yeah, but again, the movie has to be rushed, so.
And how did he get money to afford this?
We don't believe in currency here.
Bitcoin.
Well, I mean, I'm a little nitpicky on the money thing, but like,
Bitcoin helps me a lot.
Bitcoin.
Thank you.
I'm getting nitpicky, but like, it's just a weird.
Again, he raised.
It's another Death Star, but I think they knew they knew they couldn't do another Death Star, so like let's just do multiple Star Destroyers.
Let's just do more Death Stars.
It's not round, so it doesn't look like a Death Star.
Once I saw raised, all it was like another Death Star.
Legit, four out of the 9 movies involved a Death Star.
I was like, what is it with Death Star?
And then it destroyed the planet to show its power.
Dude, I couldn't believe it. I was like, dude, Jada did another Death Star. I was like, no, not again.
He's really just couldn't come out.
Dude, I was like,
dude, I'm telling you, they were stuck. Like, I don't know what else they could have done. I don't know.
I think like since he brought back the lightsaber, just be like Luke, just full power.
Dude, I would have loved if he just brought him back. Like he just teleported somewhere.
Yeah, he was on vacation.
What if he teleported to one of the get one of the codes or something, and he just wanted to do it by himself? But it would. It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense.
The Last Jedi doesn't make sense. So again, you don't need to watch 8.
He just took a nap, bro. He wakes up.
He had Taco Bell and
bad gas. All right. We should probably wrap this up. I don't know anything else to say. I think that was it, man.
Yeah,
I feel like I let everything out.
There's more.
I want to watch it again. You
just love torturing yourself, don't you?
Yeah. We were supposed to watch it again this morning. I was like, I'd rather sleep.
I woke up mad. I was like, fuck.
It made me less motivated to go watch it. I was like, do I really want to drive 30 minutes to go watch this movie? And
just to like see the garbage.
Like the shots of the choreography weren't even that great. Everything was close up. I was like, man, I'm not even gonna get rewarded watching this in IMAX, you know?
And just to see that Reylo scene again.
Yeah.
God. Oh.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that's it. We went an hour and a half rambling on this thing. So we got a 5, 6. Yeah. I'm giving it a nicer rating just because I understand what they tried and I respect what they did. At least they threw the jabs at Last Jedi. If you're gonna go down swinging. You know, and they went down swinging.
What he should have done was Mark Hamill choking out Ryan Johnson, a CGI Ryan Johnson. That's it. That's what.
At least they went out swinging. They didn't want to go out quietly. You know, they went out swinging.
Yeah, but he did it very classy.
And I think JJ and all these actors knew that
you see it
that this wasn't gonna work, and they wanted to go and. They knew this movie wasn't gonna work, and they just went out and they said what they said about the movie, and they're like, this fucking. Just ruined it.
John Berger said it.
And JJ did it in a classy way. He did it within the Star Wars lore. Like Luke saying that's a Jedi doesn't disrespect. That's no way to disrespect the Jedi's weapon or something. Yeah. Like, dude.
I would have just made it.
That right there gives me a point. I bump it up a point right there just for that scene.
And the Rose sideline.
I would have just made it like Luke's having a bad dream about all this.
He's like, "Oh my god!"
And then at the end, he's just like force choking Ryan Johnson, and it wakes up.
Hey, cuts the credits.
He just no. He wakes up. He's like, oh god, and then Ray goes is like right there.
I've never felt this way like at an ending of a movie, just so in shock of what I saw, like just sitting there. I just at one point I was so like seemingly frustrated. I was just like watching the movie, like just grabbing my head, like what is going on? I can't believe this. I'm so upset. And when the credits rolled, I just had to let it sink in for a second. But like I couldn't. It felt like a nightmare.
You were just staring at the screen. I thought like we were waiting for the end credits or something. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it felt like a nightmare. I couldn't believe that this was the end. And then I just kept thinking of what George Lucas had in mind and how different that must be. Like my God.
Those about
the wills and the gods of the Force and the Force itself and how
that was like spiritual.
All the movies would have been through the perspective of them. So they're watching the Skywalker story again because it's about the Skywalkers. All you Last Jedi fanboys, I can't no more.
Yeah, no, because again, the Last Jedi learns low because it's not about like
it's
your
different.
Bloodline.
It's different.
Everyone can have the Force.
It's different.
Everyone gets a car. Like
whatever. All right, guys. Any closing thoughts before I wrap this up?
Fuck Rian Johnson. He ruined the trilogy.
We wore those shirts with pride.
Oh, yeah.
I'm happy.
Always wear it with pride because this man.
Well, you didn't have one, but.
That's why I said you guys wear them.
Oh, I heard we.
And I said you.
We. All right, guys. Thank you. If you were watching the live stream, whoever that other person is, thank you so much for watching. If Zarota, that's you, man. Thank you for watching. If you guys are listening or if you're watching us on YouTube afterwards, thank you so much for watching. You can like and subscribe and all that stuff if you enjoy the show. I really appreciate all our followers, giving us more suggestions and recommendations for us of what to talk about on the show and reviews and stuff. That's awesome. So thank you guys. Feel free to email us or literally DM us on Instagram, whatever you want, and we'll try to